democracy? What happens to the will of the people? What happens to elections? What happens to voting? What happens to competence? What happens to the betterment and development of our society? We saw how the Senate President boasted in Calabar. And we also saw how Senator Monday Okpebholo knelt down openly appreciating him for taking Edo. We saw all those things. I engaged with civil societies, accredited, over 30 of them, organizations, came together with evidences that the election was rigged. See, I would tell you, Vimbai, anybody that would accuse the PDP of being part of this nonsense is funny. Of course, we have the legacy PDP that pulled out to support the APC to perpetuate this evil on Edo people. You know, for the first time in my life, I was broken down before women. At the airport yesterday, Vimbai, I saw 4 women, 2 from Houston, Texas, 2 from Atlanta, Georgia. They said they are coming to Nigeria to vote for the first time. They came to mobilize their tenants and family to vote for Asri Ighodalo. In tears, they told me they would never return to Nigeria. That they thought that with Asiwaju, with what they saw him do in Lagos, with the way he fought for this democracy, that he would be the one to uphold democracy and protect and preserve our democracy and strengthen our institutions. But hold and behold, under his watch, under the watchful eyes of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Odigie.
Look at what is happening.
Odigie.
The women cried. And I broke down in tears.
Odigie,
and I wept for my city.
Please cry.
I wept for Nigeria.
Please cry no more. I feel your pain, Odigie. Can you hear me?
And I say to myself,
it is well. No, don't cry.
How can we ever get it right?
Please don't cry.
Over 200 Edo
please don't cry.
Images in diaspora came to vote and mobilize for Asri Ighodalo.
Please don't cry.
If they did this evil to project the best candidate that has the intellectual depth, the intellectual capacity to articulate, to do what is needed.
Odigie, if you can hear me.
Take Edo to the next level.
Odigie, if you can hear me.
Feeling this bad.
Okay, if you can hear me, please, couple of things. Please.
I can hear you gratified.
Do not cry. Do not cry. It's time for action. Don't cry. But I'm also surprised.
I saw a man,
hang on a minute. Let me finish.
A lecturer.
Let me finish, please. Let me finish.
Whose wife died. Just a minute, please. A lecturer of University of Benin. His wife died on Friday. The man went to his polling unit, and this lady said he saw him. He said, "What are you doing here? Your wife died yesterday." He said when Asri Ighodalo came to Uniben to speak to them, he promised that he will vote for this man.
Okay, Prince, sorry about that. Please, let me get a word in.
What is the hope?
Let me get a word in, and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. But I'm surprised that you believe so much. And when you were always saying here that President Tinubu is your political mentor, I was taken aback because the elections that brought him in were heavily disputed. So somebody that came into those disputed elections in 2023, although the court cleared that he won, but people still feel disgruntled that you called out your political mentor. I knew it was just hypocrisy of you trying to play your political balancing game then. But I'll ask you
Not at all.
No, hang on a minute.
I believe in him truly.
Hang on a minute.
That's why I'm paying.
So I will ask you some salient questions now. Will you say Buhari is a better Democrat than President Tinubu after these last Edo elections? That's number one.
Absolutely.
So Buhari is way better than President Tinubu.
I didn't vote for Buhari, though an APC I didn't vote for.
So would you say Buhari is your hero over Tinubu because he's better Democrat, right? Secondly, since you've answered that.
He's not my hero.
Okay, but he's a better Democrat than Tinubu, right? He's a better Democrat than Tinubu. Okay.
Well, I still, to this minute, want to believe that the president have no hand in this. And that is why I'm encouraging Aswego and the PDP to go to court.
See, Mr. Odigie, there's no need for delusion in the country. There's nothing that happens in the country that the president doesn't know about. So all of this definitely is well aware. He's read the papers. He's got security reports, so he knows what's going on. Let's stop deluding ourselves.
Yes.
Most importantly, let me talk about, because I care so much about you, my brother. Let me talk about your political future. Are you going to go back to the APC now? Because you reneged against the APC, you said all sorts. In fact, you even went ahead to say...
Hell no.
Wait, you went ahead to say... No, wait, you went ahead to say Okpebholo doesn't have a degree. But yesterday when I saw his resume being read, they said he has a master's from University of Abuja and he has a first degree from University of Abuja. So you said all the things against the APC. You know, because I know politicians, you can't last long.
Can I clear that?
I know you clear all of that. You can't last long being in opposition in a PDP that's not in power. At some point, you have to go back to the APC because they are your first love in the first place before you left them, you know. So aren't you going to go back to them at some point?
I will not go back to my vomit.
Okay.
Okay, Prince.
Straight to five.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish your point here.
I, Prince Emmanuel Odigie, I am in politics to create a difference, to contribute to nation building, to help ensure that the best of the best leads us. I am not in politics for my personal interest. I'm not in politics for my personal gains. I'm in politics to support the best of the best, to see how we can take Edo and Nigeria to become a first world economy. If anybody tells you, Petrified, that any Edo man would travel on the impassable federal road to Edo North and cast their vote for the APC, they lie. If anybody in Edo would queue to buy fuel at 1,200 naira, to buy a loaf of bread at 2,000 instead of 400, and vote for APC, they lie. If anybody would buy a bag of rice at 95,000, a bag of beans for 230,000, a crate of egg for 8,000 naira, and vote for APC, they lie. If anybody tells you the teachers that Obaseki just increased their salaries with 80% increment would go to the ballot and vote for APC, they lied. If they tell you a pensioner that receives his pension at 25th of every month without delay, they lie. If they tell you any civil servant, those that works in the local government that is receiving 70%, 70,000 minimum wage would go out there and cast their vote for APC, they lie. This is a blatant rape. This is a murder.
You're not going back to the APC again, Dr. Batu.
If we cannot achieve change through the polls, how then can we achieve true change in Nigeria?
Okay.
You said the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. Some people have said, don't need to go to court. Let us move on. Let's let Nigeria go the way they want it. I said no. That there are still men and women in the judiciary, men of integrity and women in the judiciary, that we hope that we not allow the will of the people to go down this way. It is sad and painful that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, under his watchful eyes, will allow such a sham and disgraceful impunity in a democracy. He is the chairman of ECOWAS. The international communities are watching. Aswe is an international branded man.
Prince Odigie.
He's a boardroom guru.
Prince Odigie.
Yes, please.
First, let me start with folk wisdom. You said you wept for the first time in front of women. Well, I think you should weep more when your heart is overburdened in front of women, you know, because it can be very therapeutic. After all, we all started life weeping in front of women. So that's just my little piece of advice on a lighter side. So when your heart is overburdened, just weep in front of a woman. You'll get the therapy that you are looking for. But let me ask you this question.
Dr. Abati, you would broke down yourself when you saw them cry.
Well, in any case, the PDP now wants to go to court. Due process, as Governor Obaseki had advised, that all aggrieved persons should, follow due process. Do you have faith in the Election Petitions Tribunal and maybe in the courts that, well, maybe some miracle will happen, your candidate will win at the tribunal and the courts what he probably, could not get at the polls?
All right, Dr. Abati, I would say it's mixed feelings for me. When I saw the same ASU men and women that continually go on strike, that their take-home pay cannot take them home, crying daily, threatening to strike every day under this same APC-led federal government. The same men and women, professors, came. They were used to perpetuate such evils. These are academicians, people who are supposed to be role models, who are teachers of our young students. You see them participate in this rape of democracy. They had a choice to say no. And somebody told me, Prince Odigie, I saw one of my friends and I said, what are you going to do? He said, my brother, I'm here to cash out. When I take a professor saying to someone he's here to cash out. The same military, the same policemen that we are advocating a better pay for, go to their barracks and see the condition in which them and their family lives. These are the same people that were brought to Edo to perpetrate such evil. And they couldn't stand to say, no, let us do what is right for the sake of our nation and the sake of our people. They fell, they took money and obeyed the last command, as Fela has said, Zombie way and one way. Fela has since died. Zombie way has continued to be one way. When and how do we achieve true change in Nigeria? A man is indeed a product of his society. You can never give what you don't have. We cry every day of bad governance. We cry of poverty. We cry of lack of infrastructure. We cry of poor health care. We cry of unemployment. And here, Edo, people came out en masse and voted for their choice. And the leadership of the APC and the federal government choose to impose a grossly incompetent candidate on the people. The votes will count. Those Edo Odigies, hundreds in numbers, that flew in from the UK, the US, Germany, Italy, from Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt to cast their ballots for Asri Ighodalo. I want to say to you, weep no more. We would ensure we fight this fight to a logical conclusion. Do we trust the judiciary? It is yes and no. For me, I think there are still men and women of integrity and honor in the judiciary that would do the right thing and damn the consequences. If Nigeria would survive, Edo 2024 would be a determining factor. If Nigerians will still have hope in our democracy, if the APC wants to turn Nigeria to a one-party state under a dictatorship, we would know. If they will also coerce the judiciary to do their bidding, time will tell. If judiciary will stand up at these trying times and rescue Nigeria and defend and preserve our democracy, time will tell. Do I trust the judiciary? It is yes and no. Because I know nothing is absolute. Only God is absolute. I saw men who are mere mortal behaved as if they were gods, as if the life and death is in their pockets. But they should remember they are mere mortals. They are mere mortals. They have just been given opportunity by God and the people to be in the hands of affairs today.
Okay.